G'day everybody, it's Dan here at Pilates with Dan with your next homework sheet. This is for the continuing plus level Swiss ball turn, and this is the homework sheet with the Swiss ball. So if you've got a Swiss ball at home, now's the time to break it out. As you know, we've split up the homework sheets this term to one with the Swiss ball and one without the Swiss ball. The one without the Swiss ball you can find down below in the comments or up here in the link. And it's also been emailed to you for those coming to my classes in the studio here. So what you need to do is I'd like you to set up your Swiss ball. Make sure it's the correct size for your body. And the way to tell is that when you're sitting on it, that the knees are slightly below the height of the hips. Okay, so you don't want to be sitting with the knees up above your hips or so high that you're kind of perched on top. So you want a nice comfortable position. The other thing is you're going to need a wall, which I conveniently have prepared, or a door. And if it's a door that you're using, make sure it doesn't open out on you, okay? So maybe lock it or whatever. And that way you're going to be nice and safe. Okay, so with the homework sheet, we're going to be starting sitting on top of the Swiss ball. And we're just preparing the body with some just gentle movements. So we're just going to start off just drawing little circles. And the reason for this is that maybe you've been sitting a lot today, and I just want to present a bit of a new movement for you. Many people come to the studio, they're a bit stiff through the lower back. And so we have this little circular movement here. Now with the circles, we're going to go each way. I just want you to keep your knees fairly still. Okay, so the movement is happening definitely in the pelvis and the lower half of your torso. So just doing 6 to 8 each way. It's just enough to kind of think about moving in a circular motion. And then what you're going to do is just do a little balance, okay? So you're going to lift up one leg and rest it down. So this is just a little weight transference exercise. Helps wake up the brain, okay? And just being aware of where do I feel more balanced today? Is it on my left foot or my right foot? Is my right foot doing something weird as I do this? These are all things I want you just to be thinking about. It's just information. There's nothing wrong or right with it. It's just allowing your brain to figure things out. Okay, so about 5 or 6 each way. Okay, just to start off. Okay, then you're going to be laying down with the ball against the wall. And feet on the ball. The legs are going to be together just for an added balance issue. If you're finding with your balance is not happening today, just separate the feet. Okay, it just gives you a wider base. But ideally I want you to try and have the legs together. We're going to do our pelvic curls. Now, from side on, what you don't want to do is what I've just done. Don't do what Dan did. Okay, I don't want you to bring your knees over your hips too much. I want to have a position where the knees are just slightly closer to the wall than the hips, and the heels are on the top of the ball. Okay, that's not going to interfere with your calves. So I don't want you to put them up here. Okay, so we're here, so there's clear air underneath those calves. Inhale to prepare. Press the hands down. Exhale, pelvic curl, rolling up. Find your height and roll it back down. The nature of the Swiss ball is such that it creates some instability. And that's what we're working with this term. The idea of instability and finding balance. Good. Plus also you get a nice hamstring exercise here. And back down. We're going to do 3 more. And back down. And 2, and back down. Nice, and working my balance there so I can feel how wobbly that ball is, and back down. Okay, then I want you to transfer the ball to your hands. Try and be clever, just like that. So, little catch. Okay, keep the Swiss ball still, and you're going to tip the pelvis over and bring it back in. And tip the pelvis over, bring it back in. We're just exploring what your control looks like. You're keeping that ball very still, and you're not falling to the ground. You're holding your position just on that point where you might tip over. Good. One more each way. Back to the centre, and tip, and back to the centre. Okay, now from there return the ball to the wall, and what I want you to do now is you're going to have to shuffle back a little bit. Okay, so just have a little shuffle back until the legs are straight. Okay, so definitely at the end of my mat, hands back behind the head, elbows towards the ceiling. Exhale, come up into a chest lift. Inhale to lengthen back down. Exhale to chest lift. Inhale to lengthen back down. Exhale. Inhale back down. Exhale. Inhale back down. 3 more. So your goal here is, if you're doing the chest lift, is to try and keep that ball as stable as you can. Hold your last one there. You're going to do the hula, exhale to turn, inhale center. So we're trying to isolate the lower body from the upper body. And turn, and turn, and turn, and turn. Turn. One more each way. Turn. Last one. And turn. Come back to the center. Take the hands down by your sides. Immediately go straight into the 100. And you beat. Your goal here is to squeeze the legs together enough so that you minimize the bounce effect that the Swiss ball may give you. Okay? You almost have to pretend that the legs are just in the air. They're not resting on top of the Swiss ball. We don't want to rest. We want to work those legs as you're going. 6 more breaths. There you go. Is the ball staying still? Keep squeezing those legs. 2 more breaths. Last one. Good, and rest it down. Okay, so then from there, the thing that we're really here for are the leg squats, right? So for the homework, we're just going to work the 3 positions. You're going to start off with the Swiss ball just on your sacrum and step forwards 1 step. The feet are in parallel, approximately 1 hand width apart. The hands are on the hips because it looks cool. And you're sitting up nice and tall. Now, as you're going with this, I want you to choose your own height, whatever that is today, okay? But don't go much lower than hips in line with the pelvis. That's probably all we really need to do. You're going to inhale to bend, exhale to come back up. So it's an inhale to bend, exhale pushing up. The other thing to look out for is as you're coming up and down, what is happening to your spine? Okay? Are you able to keep your spine fairly erect and upright? Or are you feeling like you're pushing backwards onto the Swiss ball or underneath the Swiss ball? Ideally, I want you just to stay very straight and upright. 2 and 1. Then take a half step back and lift the heels up. So this is our high heel position. Inhale to bend, exhale push up. So again, just check that you're not letting the bottom sink under and you're not leaning back over the ball. We'll do 3 more. 3 and 2 and 1. Bring the heels together and push up. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, 7, 3 more, 8, there we go, warm, and 10, and resting the heels down. Okay, so they're the first 3 positions. In the classes we'll do the other 2 wide positions. You can carry on and do that if you'd like. Pause the tape now, come back when you've finished the toes wide, and then we're going to move on to a back extension exercise. Okay, so if you've gone on to do the other 2 positions, welcome back. Otherwise, we're coming into our back extension. Now, there's 2 options for this one. The first one is in a little frog squat, like I am here, body up against the wall. Heels together, knees apart, and the ball sits in between your legs. Okay, so that'll be the first option. When you do this option, push down with your hands, place your belly on the ball, walk it out a little bit, and then place the feet against the wall. You're still got the heels together, knees apart. It's still like a little frog position. We'll then move into our back extension from there. The other position that you can play around with, if that's not you today, is simply a kneeling position. Place the body over the ball, and then you can work with the back extension there, if that's you today, right? I like the frog one. That's where I feel my feels, so to speak. You're going to press down, walk it forwards, still in that heel together position, toes apart, head down. It's a back extension, working up through the hamstrings and glutes as well as your spine. And lengthening up and down. Lengthen up and down. We'll do 2 more. Up, then come down halfway. Extend the arms, swimming arms. Think of this as the reverse 100. So we're working all those muscles in the opposite direction. 2 more breaths. Good. And resting down. Good work. Okay, so our front support, we have 2 options for you. You can go with your arms extended fully, or you can come down onto your elbows. Both are going to work you. Just know that when you go with the arms extended, it's a lot wobblier, okay? All right, because you've got less support. Okay, so from here, it's a push up into our front support, holding, breathing, and resting it down. Okay, so 3 to 4 breaths for that one. And so mixing it up, you can go onto your elbows. If you're on your elbows, make sure your hips are up, your chest is away from the ball. again. Going back to the hands is another option. See the wobbliness? We're really fighting to control this. But there's still a lot of work happening through the front, right? And resting it down. Good. Okay, now from there, our back supports. So with the back support, you're going to enter it from a seated position and just walk out and support the head. Okay, and then you're going to lower the hips down towards the ground. You may even touch the ground. Lift the hips up, 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 up as high as you can. And down. And up. All the way up. And down. And all the way up. Let's do two more. Down. And up. Last one. And up. Good. And then walk all the way back up to a seated position. Back to where you started. Now the final exercise is just a simple balance exercise. And it's just for you to practice those skills. You have the leg on top of the Swiss ball, or foot on top of the Swiss ball. Hands back behind the head, or hands on hips. Hands on hips looks cool too. Alright, so you're going to roll the ball out, roll it in. Roll it out, and roll it in. I was saying to a class this week that the secret of this exercise is not to rely on the Swiss ball for you to stay upright. It's to rely on the leg that's on the ground. This is merely a distraction. We're just changing what the body's experiencing in this plane of gravity, which allows the brain to do its thing, your spine to do its thing, to help with your balance. One more. So whenever we do these balance things, just think we're just presenting opportunities for your brain to adapt. Okay? Giving it some training so that when, or if, but probably when you fall over out there in the real world, your brain's had a chance to do some of training in preparation for being in a different situation. It's when you're not ready for it, it's when you hurt yourself most, yeah? 2 and 1. It's kind of like vaccinating your brain for balance, right? Okay, so all done there. So it's a nice quick little one. You can decide to sort of join the two homework sheets together if you want. If you do that, do the first homework sheet and then use this second homework sheet from the ball squats down. This is a good option. Okay, good luck with your practice, and I look forward to seeing you in studio soon.